Before diving into this incredible story, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, every story has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. The Brooklyn sun filtered through the large windows of the small cafe, casting golden patterns on the worn tiles. The aroma of freshly ground coffee mingled with the sweet scent of still warm pastries. Anna Johnson, a young waitress with an infectious smile, glided between the tables with an ease born of years of hard work. Every morning was the same: hurried customers, orders piling up, and that little ritual of seeing familiar faces brighten their day with a simple smile. But that morning, something in the air felt different. The doorbell rang, and a man entered. His outfit was simple: threadbare jeans, a dark, stained jacket, and slightly worn shoes. His hair, disheveled, looked as if it hadn't been styled in days. At first glance, he seemed unremarkable. Yet his gaze, sharp and attentive, seemed to absorb every detail of the cafe and its patrons. Anna, used to smiling at every new customer, approached him. He returned her smile with an almost surprising gentleness and ordered the cheapest coffee on the menu. He spoke with rare politeness, each word carefully chosen, each gesture imbued with unexpected respect. What Anna didn't know was that this man wasn't just a customer. Behind the unassuming exterior and discreet demeanor was Ethan Sterling, CEO of a global financial empire, a man whose name alone sent shivers down the spines of the markets and inspired respect and admiration worldwide. But that morning, Ethan had chosen to forget everything: his title, his wealth, his power. He wanted to see something rare, almost forgotten: true human kindness. He wanted to know if people could be kind without ulterior motives, if kindness could exist when no reward was promised. Anna Johnson would unknowingly become the subject of this silent experiment. Every smile, every gesture, every word would be observed, measured, analyzed. And so, in that bright Brooklyn cafe, a simple coffee would become the starting point for a story of tests, revelations, and sincere hearts, where a masked millionaire would discover that the most precious wealth was not that which one possessed in one's accounts, but that which one carried in one's heart. Thief Brooklyn. The room hummed softly with her usual murmurs and the clinking of china cups. Anna Johnson, 24, her brown hair pulled back in a ponytail, adjusted a chair by the window while checking that the croissants were golden brown. Her eyes shone with a quiet energy, the result of long hours of work and a secret desire to see the world beyond Brooklyn. The doorbell rang, and Anna looked up. A man had just entered. At first glance, he didn't seem particularly remarkable: threadbare jeans, a stained dark jacket, and visibly worn shoes. But there was something in his gaze, an intense, almost childlike curiosity that scrutinized every detail of the cafe and its customers. "Good morning, welcome to Café Brooklyn," said Anna with her usual smile. "What can I get you this morning?" "Hello. I'm just going to have a black coffee," he replied calmly, his voice soft but composed. Anna nodded, mentally noting her order. She couldn't help but notice the man's unusual politeness. Even in a cafe filled with hurried customers, he seemed to take his time, observing and appreciating the world around him. As she brought him his coffee, she said curiously, "Are you new to the neighborhood? I've never seen you here before." "Yes. I just moved to the area," he replied with a slight smile. Anna placed the cup on the table, and their eyes met for a moment. There was a depth in that gaze, a mixture of gentleness and something she couldn't identify. "Thank you," he said simply. Anna nodded, heading back to the kitchen. But in the back of her mind, she sensed that this man was not ordinary. Something about his presence commanded a silent respect, without arrogance, just natural. What Anna didn't know was that this man wasn't just any customer. Beneath his unassuming exterior was Ethan Sterling, a world-renowned billionaire and CEO of a financial empire, accustomed to being waited on hand and foot and admired wherever he went. But today, he had chosen to forget everything: his wealth, his power, and even his identity. His sole purpose was to discover if someone could be genuinely kind, simply by nature. As he sipped his coffee, Ethan observed Anna. Every smile she gave a customer, every gesture of patience she showed towards children or the elderly, was mentally noted. He wanted to see true kindness, not the kind motivated by money or fear, but the kind that comes from the heart. And so, in that bright little Brooklyn cafe, began an unexpected encounter, a story where a masked millionaire would discover that the most precious wealth is not found in bank accounts, but in the souls of people. The morning was progressing slowly at Cafe Brooklyn. Customers came and went, leaving behind the clinking of cups and the aroma of freshly ground coffee. Anna Johnson busied herself, tray in hand, smiling at everyone. But despite her experience managing the constant flow of customers, her thoughts kept returning to the man in the corner, the one with the bright, curious eyes. Ethan Sterling sat at his table, leafing through his notebook, sometimes jotting down a sentence, sometimes just a word. But his eyes always returned to Anna. He watched her, fascinated by the way she interacted with each customer. Every smile, every thoughtful gesture, seemed natural, sincere, without any ulterior motive. An old man entered, staggering slightly with his cane. Most of the waiters would have ignored him for a few moments to serve a customer in a hurry, but not Anna. She approached immediately. "Good morning, sir. Would you like to sit by the window? I've set aside a chair for you," she said gently. "Oh, thank you, young lady. That's very kind of you," replied the man with a grateful smile. Ethan mentally noted this gesture. For him, it wasn't simply politeness, it was genuine kindness, something rare that he had almost never encountered in his life as a billionaire. Later, a student, clearly short of change, wanted to order a coffee but hesitated to pay. Anna, after a quick smile, offered him a small free coffee. "Don't worry. Consider it a welcome gesture at the cafe. Everyone deserves a little kindness sometimes." The student was speechless, and Ethan felt his admiration for Anna grow. Here, far from red carpets and business meetings, he saw an example of true generosity. Meanwhile, Ethan played his part perfectly. He remained discreet, dressed simply, spoke little, and paid the bare minimum. He wanted to be certain that Anna's kindness wasn't influenced by her wealth. At the end of the morning, Anna returned to him with a smile. "Here's your coffee. I hope you like it." "It's perfect, thank you," replied Ethan. "You're always so thoughtful with everyone, aren't you?" "I suppose that's just the way I am," Anna replied, shrugging slightly. "I like to see people smile." Ethan noted every word. It wasn't just a compliment, it was his first real impression. An impression that showed him Anna possessed something rare, a generous, genuine heart, capable of giving without expecting anything in return. As the doorbell rang once more to welcome a new customer, Ethan realized that this test had only just begun. And that Anna Johnson, without knowing it, would become the mirror of his own humanity, the one who could remind him that true wealth isn't measured in millions, but in kindness. Sunlight filtered through the cafe's large windows, casting a golden glow on the tables. Anna Johnson continued her service with her usual energy, but Ethan Sterling, sitting in his corner, observed every detail. Every smile she gave the customers, every word of encouragement she uttered, seemed natural and sincere. A young boy entered, visibly nervous and holding a crumpled drawing. He sat down silently at a table, dropping his backpack. Anna immediately noticed his discomfort and approached gently. "Hello. Do you want to show me what you drew?" she asked, kneeling slightly to be at his level. The boy timidly raised his drawing. Anna smiled and complimented his creativity. "It's magnificent. You have a lot of talent. You should be proud." Ethan, hidden behind his notebook, mentally noted this gesture. For him, it wasn't just a compliment, it was an act of selfless kindness. Later, a student carrying his books and visibly stressed approached the counter. "I'm really sorry, but I don't have enough to pay for my coffee," he murmured. Anna barely hesitated, then took some banknotes out of her pocket. "It's nothing. Consider it a little encouragement for your day. You can pay me back someday, if you want." The student looked at her, surprised, and murmured a shy, "Thank you." Ethan felt an inner smile forming on his lips. The young woman's kindness was intact, and he knew that she would never be influenced by his wealth or status. During the afternoon break, Ethan got up and approached Anna, under the pretext of asking something trivial. "Excuse me, could you recommend a cake?" "I don't know what to choose," he said, his voice calm and composed. "Of course. Today we have blueberry muffins and homemade apple pies." "Personally, I would recommend the muffin, it's still warm," she said, smiling. "Very well, then I'll try the muffin," he replied, looking attentively at her. As Anna walked away, Ethan thought quietly to himself. If kindness still existed in this world, it would surely take this form. The day drew to a slow close. The customers left one by one, and Anna cleaned the tables with her usual efficiency. Ethan watched her final tidying gesture and realized he had just spent an entire day admiring someone who embodied authenticity and kindness. He stood up, picked up his notebook, and headed for the exit, leaving a bill on the table, just enough to cover his coffee and muffin. But in his mind, he knew it wasn't the money that mattered, it was the lesson he had just learned from this young, unknown waitress. And so, Ethan began to plan his first little challenge to test Anna's true generosity and heart, a test that would highlight whether her kindness was truly selfless. The next morning, Cafe Brooklyn, the atmosphere was as lively as ever. Anna Johnson carefully arranged the tables, greeting regular customers and welcoming newcomers with her warm smile. Ethan Sterling entered discreetly, dressed in his simple attire for the day, worn jeans, a dark jacket, and modest shoes. Nothing about his appearance betrayed his true wealth. After settling into his usual spot, he observed Anna. Today, he had decided to take his experiment a step further. He wanted to test not only her natural kindness, but also her patience and her ability to help others without ulterior motives. "Hello," he said when Anna arrived to take her order. "Good morning. What can I get you this morning?" she asked with her ever-present smile. I need help writing a letter," he replied timidly, almost hesitantly. "It's for a competition, but I don't know how to start." Anna, slightly surprised but always ready to help, smiled. "Of course. Show me what you have, and we'll work on it together." She sat down at his table, taking the notebook Ethan handed her. She read the first few lines, gently corrected the syntax, and added ideas to enrich the text. All this with patience and encouragement. "You have a lot of imagination," she said finally. "With a little organization, your letter will be excellent." "Thank you, really," said Ethan, looking at her sincerely. "You're doing this just to help me, without expecting anything in return?" Anna shrugged. "I guess I just like helping people. That's all." Ethan mentally noted that sentence. It was exactly what he wanted to hear, no self-interest, no calculation. Just pure kindness. As the morning progressed, more customers arrived, but Anna continued to dedicate time to Ethan, sharing advice and encouragement, without paying attention to the others. Even when a younger waiter urged her to return to her shift, she stayed a few minutes longer, focused on helping him. Later, as he was paying for his coffee, Ethan thought to himself, "This is exactly what I was looking for. Unconditional kindness still exists. And it's right in front of me." He stood up, ready to leave, but in his mind he was already planning the next little challenge, one that would further test Anna's generosity and empathy, and reveal whether her kindness persisted even in an unexpected situation. Thus, this small challenge was only the beginning of a series of discreet trials, where every smile and every gesture would count, and where Anna, without knowing it, would gradually discover that her simple humanity was more precious than all the gold in the world. The afternoon was shaping up to be calm at Cafe Brooklyn. Sunlight streamed in at an angle through the windows, illuminating the tables and pastries on the counter. Anna Johnson was wiping a cup when Ethan Sterling approached her shyly. "Excuse me," he said, his voice hesitant. "I wanted to thank you for your help this morning, and I was wondering if you would be willing to have lunch with me." Anna blinked in surprise. "Oh, I don't know," she replied, a little embarrassed. "It's a bit sudden, isn't it?" "Perhaps, but I promise you it's not for some strange reason. Just to thank you, and to chat for a bit," he said with a genuine smile. After a moment's thought, Anna agreed. They left the cafe and went to a small bistro a few streets away. Ethan chose a table in a quiet corner, away from prying eyes. "So," said Ethan, ordering a simple sandwich, "have you been working here long?" "For 3 years now," Anna replied, smiling. "It's not always easy, but I love my job. It allows me to meet interesting people, to see smiles, even on the worst days." Ethan listened attentively, fascinated by the simplicity and honesty of his words. "You seem really nice," he said softly. "And I don't say that to everyone." Anna blushed slightly. "I suppose that's just the way I am. I've learned that people don't always need grand things, sometimes just a smile or a sincere gesture makes all the difference." The meal continued, punctuated by comfortable silences. Ethan shared a few mundane anecdotes about his life, but without mentioning his wealth or his CEO status. He wanted to see Anna as she truly was, without her identity being influenced by her. At the end of lunch, Anna smiled. "Thank you, that was nice. I never thought that helping someone with a letter would lead to such an interesting lunch," she said, laughing softly. Ethan smiled in turn. "For me, it was even more enriching. You have a rare heart, Anna. And I wanted to tell you that before our paths diverged." As they walked back to the cafe, Ethan realized something important. His fascination with Anna went far beyond mere curiosity. Every gesture, every word, every smile revealed a humanity he had almost forgotten in his world of luxury and power. And so, the bond between the masked millionaire and the waitress began to strengthen, gently, without haste, but with an emotional intensity that promised to turn both their lives upside down. The morning had begun calmly at Cafe Brooklyn, but around noon, a customer entered with an aggressive attitude. He spoke loudly, criticizing almost every detail. The coffee was too hot, the chair was in the wrong place, the service was too slow. Several customers turned to Anna, worried about how she would react. Anna Johnson took a deep breath and walked towards him with her usual calm. "Hello, sir. I'm sorry if something is wrong." "How can I help you?" she asked, her voice soft but firm. "Help me? You call that helping?" "That's unacceptable," shouted the man, pointing his finger at the counter. Several employees would have reacted or shown their irritation, but not Anna. She remained composed, polite, and tried to defuse the situation. "I understand your frustration. I can offer you a free coffee or replace your order, if you wish. We want you to be satisfied." Ethan, sitting at his table, silently observed the scene. His notebook was closed, his eyes fixed on Anna. He was struck by her ability to remain calm, patient, and respectful, even in the face of aggression. The customer, surprised by her reaction, seemed to hesitate. Anna continued gently. "Everyone can have a bad day. I just want you to be able to enjoy your meal." Finally, the man accepted a replacement coffee and sat down, feeling a little ashamed. Several customers murmured their approval, admiring Anna's composure and kindness. Ethan felt a deep emotion rising within him, admiration, respect, and an unexpected pang of emotion. After the customer left, Ethan approached him. "Anna," he said softly, "you handled this with incredible grace. You are truly an exceptional person." Anna blushed slightly, lowering her eyes. "Oh, thank you. I suppose that's just the way I try to treat people," she replied humbly. Ethan noted every word. For him, it wasn't just kindness, it was a rare blend of patience, empathy, and courage. He understood that Anna possessed an inner strength that went far beyond simple smiles or compliments. That day, Ethan realized that his tests had just reached a new level. Anna wasn't just kind in easy situations, she showed her true kindness even under pressure, in the face of anger or injustice. And in the silence of the cafe, between the clinking of cups and the aroma of coffee, Ethan made an inner promise to himself: he would continue to discover the depth of his humanity, and soon, he would reveal a secret that would change Anna's life forever. The afternoon sun bathed the Cafe Brooklyn bathed in golden light. Anna Johnson busied herself with her usual energy. Customers came and went, and she never seemed tired, always smiling, always ready to help. Ethan Sterling, sitting in his usual corner, watched attentively. Today, he had decided to drop a few subtle hints about his true identity, just to see how Anna would react. Nothing too obvious, just details to pique her curiosity. "Excuse me, Anna," he said as he saw her pass by, "I wanted to ask you, could you pass me your pen? Mine seems to have disappeared." Anna handed over the pen, a little intrigued by the object Ethan returned to her. She then noticed the elegant watch on the man's wrist. "Oh, your watch is very beautiful," she said innocently. "Thank you," Ethan replied with a slight smile. "It's a special gift, a souvenir from my travels." Anna nodded, curious but not wanting to appear indiscreet. Later, Ethan initiated the conversation on more personal topics, but still in a subtle way. "You know," he said, looking out the window, "I travel a lot for my work. I meet all sorts of people, sometimes very different from you and me." "Oh really?" replied Anna, intrigued. "It must be fascinating, but also a little tiring." "Yes, but it's interesting to see people's true nature," he said softly, looking at her. "It's rare to meet someone as naturally generous and caring as you." Anna blushed slightly, a little embarrassed by the compliment. She lowered her eyes, but Ethan continued. "Sometimes it's hard to know if kindness is sincere or motivated by something else. But you, Anna, you seem genuine." Those words resonated deeply within her. She felt both touched and intrigued. Who was this man, really? Why did he seem so interested in her personality, her way of being, rather than her presence at the cafe? For Ethan, these little clues were a way of preparing the ground. He wanted Anna to get used to his mystery, to begin to sense that there was something behind his simple, ordinary appearance. And he knew that soon, he would have to move on to the next stage, the big test, the one that would reveal not only the true nature of his heart, but also the depth of his generosity. As the doorbell rang again, announcing the arrival of a new customer, Ethan made a silent decision. The moment of truth was approaching. And when it came, nothing would ever be the same for Anna Johnson. The following morning, The Cafe Brooklyn, it was as lively as usual. Anna Johnson was busy between the tables, smiling and attentive to all her customers. Ethan Sterling, true to his role as the modest customer, entered discreetly, dressed as always simply, worn jeans, dark jacket, modest shoes. Today, he had planned his big test, the one that would put not only Anna's kindness to the test, but also her generosity in the face of an unexpected situation. He approached the counter with a worried expression. "Hello," he said softly, "I think I forgot my wallet. I have nothing to pay for my coffee and muffin." Anna looked at him with a mixture of surprise and concern. She noticed his discomfort and sensed that he wasn't exaggerating. "Oh, okay," she said after a moment's thought. "Don't worry. I'll help you." She took out her wallet and handed him some bills, enough to cover his coffee and muffin. Ethan looked at her intently, fascinated by her spontaneity. "Thank you very much. I didn't mean to embarrass you," he said sincerely. "It's nothing," Anna replied with a smile. "Everyone can forget something or have an unexpected event. You would have done the same for me, wouldn't you?" Ethan smiled inwardly. This gesture wasn't motivated by money or any calculation, it was pure, genuine generosity. He noted every detail, every word, every emotion that passed across her face. "Anna," he murmured almost to himself, "that's exactly what I wanted to see. Your heart is truly exceptional." After that incident, Ethan continued to observe Anna for the rest of the morning. Even when faced with an impatient customer or a minor inconvenience, she remained calm, patient, and generous. Every smile, every word, every gesture confirmed what Ethan already knew. Anna possessed a rare kindness, a blend of patience, courage, and generosity that surpassed anything he had encountered in his life as a billionaire. At the end of the morning, Ethan got up and discreetly handed over a bill to cover his expenses. But in his heart, he knew that this test had revealed the truth. Anna wasn't just kind, she was genuinely generous, even when she had nothing to gain. And while she continued her work, unaware that she had just passed the most important test of her life, Ethan realized that the time had come to reveal his true identity, or at least to prepare Anna for the great revelation that would change her life. The sun was setting over Brooklyn, casting orange reflections on the shop windows off Cafe Brooklyn. Anna Johnson was wiping down the last tables of the day, her mind occupied with the customers and the service. Ethan Sterling approached slowly, a serious expression on his face. "Anna," he said softly, "there is something I must tell you." Anna looked up, surprised by his unusual tone. "Yes?" she asked, a little worried. Ethan took a deep breath and stood up. He removed his worn jacket, revealing a perfectly tailored suit, a stark contrast to the unassuming man she had seen all week. He also took off his discreet sunglasses and looked at her sincerely. "Anna, I'm not what you think. I'm not just an ordinary customer. My real name is Ethan Sterling. I'm the CEO of a global financial empire. All this time, I've been posing as an ordinary man to test something very important: your kindness, your heart, your authenticity." Anna was speechless. Her mind tried to understand everything in a fraction of a second: the coffee, the notebook, the compliments, the little challenges. Everything took on a new meaning. You're a millionaire?" she whispered, her eyes wide. "Yes," Ethan replied, a shy smile on his lips. "But it was never about money. I wanted to know if someone could be kind and generous without expecting anything in return. And you've exceeded all my expectations." Anna felt a wave of emotion wash over her. She was shocked, confused, and deeply touched. Tears welled up slowly, but she smiled nonetheless. I don't know what to say," she finally said. "Everything I did because it's me. I never thought someone so rich would do this kind of test. I wanted to be sure," Ethan said softly, "that goodness still existed in this world. And thanks to you, Anna, I've regained my faith in people." They remained silent for a moment, looking at the almost empty cafe. The truth had been revealed, and yet, something deeper had settled between them: a trust, a mutual respect, and a connection that went far beyond money or power. "You're incredible, Anna," Ethan said finally. "And I want you to know that your heart is the most precious thing I've ever met." Anna, touched, wiped away a tear and smiled. "Thank you, Ethan, thank you for showing me that sometimes people are still capable of believing in goodness," she said softly. And in the warm silence of the cafe, something new was born: a deep, sincere friendship, and perhaps something more. In the following days, the Cafe Brooklyn seemed brighter than ever. Anna Johnson continued her work with the same energy and smile, but a glimmer of curiosity and surprise persisted in her eyes. She now knew that Ethan Sterling, the mysterious client she had helped and admired, was not simply an ordinary man. Ethan came to the cafe regularly, but this time he wasn't hiding behind simple clothes or the role of a poor customer. He simply came to share moments with Anna, to really get to know her, and to show her that life could sometimes offer unexpected surprises. "Good morning, Anna," he said one morning as he entered, a smile on his lips. "Hello, Ethan," she replied, laughing softly. "So, no test today?" No test," he replied, sitting down at his favorite table. "Just me, enjoying your company." Over the weeks, their relationship slowly developed. Ethan offered glimpses into his world without ever flaunting his wealth, and Anna, for her part, shared her dreams, her hopes, and the little moments of everyday life. Trust and mutual respect were at the heart of their bond. One afternoon, as they watched the sunset from a terrace, Ethan took Anna's hand. "You know," he said softly, "you reminded me of something important, that true wealth is kindness, the heart of people. And you, Anna, are the perfect example of that." Anna smiled, a little emotional. "Thank you, Ethan. I think you've taught me something too. That even in a world where everything seems motivated by money, there are still people capable of seeing the true heart of others." Their connection quickly became evident. They shared laughter, confidences, and simple moments that, for Ethan, were worth more than all the wealth in the world. Anna understood that her kindness and generosity had not only touched a man, but had also created a deep and sincere bond, based on authenticity. The cafe continued to see customers come and go, some in a hurry, others curious, but for Anna and Ethan, every moment together now held a special value. The encounter between the kind-hearted waitress and the masked millionaire had changed their lives forever. And in this little corner of Brooklyn, amidst the aromas of coffee and the clinking of cups, a story was born that showed that true wealth is not in money, but in the hearts of people, and that genuine kindness could change a life, and even create two for the better.